We rely on them for everything, right? But we almost never think about them, those invisible signals connecting our world. So what happens when that connection just breaks? Today, we're going to look at just how fragile our cellular networks really are and some of the hidden risks they're facing. All right, so just to set the stage, this is part 4 of our 12-part tutorial. It's all based on this really extensive report called Radio Frequency Interference, Navigating the Invisible Threat to Connectivity from Virtualization Options LLC. Now, in this part, we're diving deep into Chapter 4, which is all about the vulnerabilities of the cellular networks we depend on for, well, pretty much everything. You know, this kind of tangled web, it's a pretty good picture of our modern world, isn't it? It's this incredibly complex network of invisible signals that holds up everything, from a simple phone call to, life-saving emergency services. But look closer. There's chaos in there, too. And that's because this whole intricate system is way more fragile than you'd probably guess. Okay, we've all been there, right? That moment of pure frustration. Why does your phone signal always seem to die at the exact moment you need it the most? Sometimes, sure, it's just a dead spot, but other times, something far more deliberate is going on. And yeah, that deliberate threat, it's so much bigger than just the annoyance of a dropped call. What we're actually talking about here is a direct risk to the cellular lifeline that, let's be honest, our entire society now depends on. So when someone interferes with those cellular signals, the consequences just cascade. It might start with your voice call sounding a bit garbage, but it can escalate fast to failed emergency calls. Your data slows to a crawl, and it's not just you. The entire network's capacity for everyone in that area gets choked. Okay, so here's the network's dirty little secret, its weakest link. Think of it like this. The signal coming from that huge cell tower down to your phone, that's the downlink. It's like someone shouting through a megaphone. It's super powerful. But the signal from your little phone back to the tower, the uplink, that's just you whispering back. And that huge power difference makes it incredibly easy for some other, louder noise to just completely drown out your whisper. And that weak uplink, that whisper, that is exactly what a malicious actor takes advantage of. Which brings us to the main villain of our story today, the illegal cell phone jammer. So what even is a jammer? Well, it's brutally simple, and that's what makes it so dangerous. It's basically a radio transmitter that does just one thing. It screams static and noise on the exact same frequencies your phone is trying to use. It's not hacking anything, it's not sophisticated, it's just creating so much radio frequency chaos that your phone's little whisper gets totally lost in the noise. And you might be surprised who's using these things. The motivations are all over the map. You've got criminals, obviously, trying to block 911 calls during a robbery. But then you have, say, a business owner who, probably with bad advice, wants to force a no-phone policy. They're even used inside prisons. And then there are just regular folks who mistakenly think they're protecting their privacy with absolutely no clue about the danger they're putting everyone else in. And that's really the core of the problem, right there. It doesn't matter why you use a jammer. The act itself is illegal, plain and simple, because you have zero control over who it affects. You might think you're just creating your own little private bubble, but you could be the reason someone's desperate 911 call, happening just a few feet away, never goes through. Now, it's super important to understand the difference here. A regular network outage, that's usually some technical glitch, and believe me, your carrier knows about it. But jamming is totally different. It's caused by a deliberate illegal device. It can be hyper-localized, like affecting just one building or a single intersection, and it can be turned on and off at will. And here's the really scary part. The report we're drawing from estimates that a whopping 91% of these incidents go completely unreported. Why? Because you and I, we just chalk it up to a bad signal or a dead spot. And this is where it gets really serious. Because when these signals are blocked, we're not talking about convenience anymore. It can, quite literally, become a matter of life and death. Just let this number sink in for a second. According to a survey that's cited in the report, a staggering 78% of emergency responders have reported that their calls were delayed because of cellular interference. That's not just a statistic. That's a direct attack on the very system that's supposed to keep us safe. So let's walk through how this can play out in the real world. A jammer gets flipped on nearby. Instantly, a police officer responding to an emergency loses their data connection to dispatch, what they call the CAD system. Suddenly, they can't get updates, they can't see a building's floor plan, they can't get critical info about the dangers ahead. The entire response is delayed, it's compromised, and lives are put on the line. And what's worse is that the problem is actually getting bigger. Some of these jammers are so powerful, they don't just hit cell frequencies. They can actually bleed over and mess with the traditional police and fire radio bands. Even FirstNet, that's the dedicated special cellular network for first responders, even that isn't totally immune. And as we all move towards next generation 911, which is all about data like texts and videos, well, the potential for this kind of disruption just keeps on growing. So, okay, the threat is serious. How in the world do you fight back against an enemy you can't even see? Well, let's take a look at how the networks and the regulators are trying to tackle this exact problem. It's basically a high-tech manhunt. First step, automated systems are constantly monitoring the network, looking for weird interference patterns. As soon as they spot something, mobile teams are sent out with special direction-finding gear to literally hunt down and pinpoint the source of the signal. And when they find it, the FCC steps in to enforce the law. And we're talking serious penalties. Fines up to $112,500 a day, or even prison time. At the same time, the networks themselves are getting way smarter. For instance, modern systems can automatically switch to a more heavy-duty, though yes, slower, data mode just to keep a connection alive. They've got these clever algorithms that can actually try to digitally subtract the jammer's noise to figure out what the original data was. And with new 5G tech like beamforming, the network can literally try to steer its signal around a known source of interference. Pretty cool. Now, all this tech is great. It definitely helps, but it's not a silver bullet. It doesn't solve the whole problem, which brings up the big question, what can you do about it? Well, there actually is something. Remember that crazy statistic that 91% of these incidents go unreported? You can help change that. If you ever experience a sudden, persistent, and just completely unexplained service blackout, especially somewhere you know you usually have a great signal, report it. Call your carrier, report it to the FCC, give them the time, the exact location, what was happening. Your report might just be the one critical piece of the puzzle they need to track down one of these illegal jammers. And so that leaves us with a final, really crucial question to chew on. We've built our entire modern world, our economy, our public safety, everything, on this invisible wireless foundation. Understanding the threats we've talked about today, well, that's the absolute first step in making sure that foundation stays strong.